Update 2. My brother stole my 8K life setup. I caught him on camera. When I confronted him, my parents took his side and called me selfish. So, I served them eviction papers and pressed charges. Now, they're begging me for mercy. Sup, Reddit. He'd been living in my house rent-free for over a year, eating my food, using my utilities, driving my car when his piece of Honda broke down. And now he wanted me to bankroll his entrepreneurship journey. Matthew, you don't have a job. You don't pay rent. You don't contribute to groceries or bills. Where exactly would this payback money come from? His face went red. Come on, don't be like that. This is an investment in my future. Your future? You've been investing in your future for 2 years while I pay for everything. $2,500 bucks is nothing to you. You make like what? 75 grand a year, and I make 0 a year. See the difference? This is exactly why I can't get ahead, he muttered, voice rising. Nobody believes in me. My own family won't even help me succeed. I'd believe in you more if you'd applied for jobs at Starbucks instead of holding out for some fantasy entrepreneur career that requires me to fund it. You're such a selfish prick, he snapped, dropping the fake nice act completely. I'm trying to better myself, and you won't even help your own brother. Better yourself? You've been unemployed for 2 years while I pay for everything. That's not bettering yourself. That's being a parasite. Screw you, Sebastian. When I make it big, don't come crawling to me for anything. Dude, you can't even make it to McDonald's for a job interview without asking me for gas money. He stormed off, slamming the doors. Later that day, I caught him on the phone in the backyard, voice low and urgent. When he saw me, he quickly ended the call. Who was that? I asked. Just Derek. We were talking about the job market. Derek was one of Matthew's fraternity brothers who worked at his dad's car dealership and spent his free time selling weed to college kids. Real career guidance material. The next few weeks were tense as hell. Matthew gave me the silent treatment, shooting dirty looks across the dinner table, acting like I'd committed some grave injustice by not funding his conference. But worse than his attitude was how my parents rallied around him. Suddenly, I was the villain for not supporting family dreams. Mom started making passive-aggressive comments about how some people are just more generous than others. Dad would mention how a little faith in family goes a long way whenever Matthew was within earshot. I caught them whispering in corners, conversations that stopped when I walked into the room. The entitlement reached peak absurdity when Mom suggested I should give Matthew a small salary for helping around the house. When I pointed out that he didn't actually help with anything, she claimed he provided emotional support and family presence. Emotional support? I laughed. The kid hasn't said 3 civil words to me in 2 weeks. He's going through a rough patch, she explained. Young men need encouragement, not criticism. Young men need jobs and responsibility, not mommy making excuses for them. That's when I started documenting everything. Call it paranoia, but something in my gut told me this situation was heading toward a cliff. 3 weeks before the theft, I sat them down in the living room for a family meeting. We need to talk about living arrangements, I started. Immediate defensive postures from all 3 of them. What about living arrangements? Dad asked, like I was about to evict orphans. It's been 18 months. You said this was temporary. We're still getting back on our feet, Mom said quickly. These things take time. 18 months is plenty of time. You need to start making concrete plans to find your own place. The room went nuclear. The conversation devolved into the usual guilt trip marathon. I was being heartless. I was abandoning family. I was forgetting everything they'd done for me. What exactly have you done for me? I asked. Because from where I'm sitting, I've provided free housing, utilities, food, and transportation for 18 months while getting nothing but disrespect in return. We raised you, Mom sobbed. Grandpa Francis raised me. You two were too busy chasing get-rich-quick schemes to be actual parents. But I held firm. You have 60 days to figure something out. When they realized I wasn't backing down, the real toxicity came out. Matthew called me a sociopath. Mom said I was heartless. Dad threatened to tell everyone what kind of son you really are. Go ahead, I said calmly. Tell everyone how I provided free housing for 18 months and asked you to start being adults. I'm sure they'll be horrified. The day when everything imploded, I was at my client's office in March, deep in debugging some render issues that were making our entire animation team want to commit crimes against technology. When my phone buzzed, it was a text from Grandpa Francis. Matthew loaded something big into his car and drove off. My blood turned to ice water. I immediately called him. Grandpa, what exactly did you see? Both monitors, that big computer tower, your drawing tablet, even those fancy speakers. Kid made 3 trips to his car, kept looking around like he was casing the joint. Here's where being paranoid paid off in spades. I'd installed a discrete security camera system pointed at my home office about 8 months earlier, right around the time Matthew started. Using my equipment without permission. Professional grade stuff with cloud backup and motion detection. The cameras were triggered by motion and uploaded clips to cloud storage automatically. I could access everything from my phone app. I pulled up the app on my phone and rewound to earlier that morning. There it was, clear as day, Matthew sneaking into my office at 10:45 a.m., right after I'd left for work. But what I saw next made my blood boil. This wasn't some impulse decision. Matthew had brought boxes, bubble wrap, anti-static bags. He disconnected everything methodically, like he'd been planning this for weeks. Even used my own packing materials. The footage was damning. He worked with the confidence of someone who'd convinced himself he was entitled to take what he was stealing. $8,200 worth of hardware gone. But unlike the old me who might have rushed home angry and emotional, I'd learned something valuable in my years dealing with difficult clients. When someone screws you over, documentation and legal strategy beat emotional confrontation every time. I started making calls. First call, my best friend Xavier, who worked in cybersecurity and had helped me set up the camera system. Matthew stole my entire animation rig, I told him. The $8,200 custom build. That piece of, please tell me you're pressing charges. That's exactly what I'm doing. But I want to make sure this sticks. Good. In Texas, anything over $2,500 is a felony. Your brother just committed third-degree felony theft. That's 2 to 10 years in prison. Xavier also mentioned something crucial. Make sure you document every component and its value. Serial numbers, purchase receipts, current market prices. Defense attorneys will try to argue the equipment was depreciated or worth less than you claim. Second call, Jake, a lawyer buddy who specialized in criminal defense. If you want to destroy someone legally, it helps to understand exactly how the system works. Jake confirmed what Xavier had told me. Matthew was completely screwed. Third-degree felony with clear video evidence meant any prosecutor would take this case and win it easily. One more thing, Jake added, if he's already sold the equipment, that shows intent to permanently deprive, which makes this theft instead of borrowing, much more serious charges. Third call, my insurance company. Even if I pressed charges and won, getting the equipment back might be impossible if Matthew had already sold it. The insurance agent confirmed my equipment was covered for theft, but I'd need a police report and evidence of the crime. The security footage would be more than enough. By the end of the workday, I had a complete plan: press charges, file an insurance claim, and let Matthew get screwed. I got home around 6 p.m. to find the whole family gathered in the living room looking suspicious as hell. Matthew was on the couch trying way too hard to look casual. My parents were doing their best impression of concerned citizens, and Grandpa Francis was in his chair watching everyone like a hawk. I played it cool. Hey everyone, I said, dropping my laptop bag by the door. How's it going? General murmurs of fine and good from around the room. But Matthew looked nervous. Everything okay, sweetheart? Mom asked. But there was something off about her tone, too bright, too forced.